Hi there, this is Bibi Cameron here. Welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be making super fun mini slimline cards with new card making ideas for you. I'm going to be using new supplies by Simon Says Stamp, and you are going to learn to make this three-dimensional frame that is super duper easy, and it adds a lot of dimension, but when you put this inside your envelope, it will flatten just like that. Even though when you press down this several times, this acts like a spring of paper and it will come back to the original shape all the time. For the card base, I'm going to be using 300 grams cardstock. For anything else, 240 grams cardstock. So that these cards are going to be very sturdy and they are not going to get damaged during shipping. Before starting, I want to add that you can find the supply list in the video description just below this video, and also in a blog post in my blog. The link to my blog post is in the video description as well. With these cards, I'm also participating on a Simon Says Stamp blog hub to celebrate a new stamping release. We are featuring new products and we also have giveaways and many ideas to share with you. So make sure to visit my blog post today to enter the giveaway. Okay, let's go to the point. I'm going to be using mini slimline windows. This is a new product by Simon Says Stamp, and mini slimline rectangles. This die here just die cut 3 inlay windows on the paper. It also die cut sentiments and other elements, but I'm not going to be using those today. And mini slimline rectangles includes 6 dies to create different elements for slimline cards. Of course, you can use them for many other things, but today I'm going to stick to that format. And these dies coordinate together. That saves me from having to measure pieces here and there, and I get perfect die cut panels for my cards. So I'm going to need a piece of paper that measures 4 inches and a quarter by 5 inches 3/4. And I'm going to grab my scoring tool to score across the larger side of this piece every 1/4 of an inch 3 times. So I'm going to score at 1/4, 1.5, and 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to rotate the paper and I'm going to do the same. I need 3 scoring lines, and that's a good size to create a 1/4 of an inch tall frame. So now you see the scoring lines there, and all I have to do here is to place the window die just in the center of those scoring lines. You can see there that I have a 1/4 of an inch between the die and the scoring lines, and also at the top and at the bottom of this piece. And now I'm going to use Spellbinders. This is a new tape that is great to affix the dies to the paper while die cutting, so the die is not going to move. And I'm going to run this through the die cutting machine. Once I die cut this panel, you will see here that I get some pieces with inlaid die cut sentiments, but I'm not going to use those today. I'm going to keep this for another occasion. So here is the main piece we are looking forward today. I'm going to place this facing down, and I'm going to fold over those scoring lines that I create. Just like in the shape of an accordion, you can use a bond folder to reinforce the scoring lines. And this is pretty much all I have to do. I'm going to repeat the same action in the other side of the frame. So there you go. This is the main piece I'm going to be using for the cards today. Now I'm going to use this die here. It's the second in order from the larger to smaller one. And I'm going to die cut this piece here. This piece is the perfect size for the background of the frame. You can just choose die cut a flat frame as well, but this is a lot more fun just because of the way it operates, and it adds a lot of value to simple compositions. Okay, now I'm going to grab this background piece here that I just die cut, and I'm going to use this blending brush to apply 3 different colors of distress ink. One is a light color, the other one is a bright blue color, and the other one is a dark blue. I'm going to speed the camera here because what I'm doing here is super simple. It's not perfectly done. I just want to apply some kind of color there, and to make the color to look a lot more even, I'm going to spray some water when I finish doing this. I'm going to dry this using a heat tool. Going to blend some of that dark blue with a little bit of water, and I'm going to splatter this over the paper as well. I need to make sure that this piece is completely dry before adhering this to the back of the frame. And I'm going to apply glue between the edge of the paper and the first scoring line, and I'm going to adhere this background piece there. I'm going to rotate the paper, and I'm going to apply again glue between the edge of the paper and the first scoring line, just like so, and then I'm going to adhere the other side of the frame. This frame is done, so it's going to look like this, and you will be able to see that all the pieces are aligned, that this is fully functional. It's so super easy, no mystery, and all we have to do is to decorate this. A tip here is to use double-sided tape behind this piece because it will behave as an stabilizer. You know, when we use distress inks, the paper tends to be a little bit wonky, and this tape is going to straighten up that paper, and also is going to give it some sturdiness, and it's also an adhesive, so it's great for all these things. So once you have that done, you can decorate this. I stamped some images on watercolor paper using VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and I applied colors using KURETAKE Clean Color Real Brush, well known as ZIGS, and I die cut them using coordinating dies. This stamp set is by Simon Says Stamp and is called Spring Birds, and I also added these supplies to the supply list in the video description. I just found that these kind of images like branches are ideal to do this, and if you are choosing this, I will advise you to adhere or glue them behind the frame and not to the background panel, so that you will add that depth and dimension we are looking for here. Now I'm going to adhere this one to the background, but I'm going to make sure that the image goes over the front panel, and I'm going to glue it over the front panel as well. Anything else is going to go adhere over those elements and also over the frame, so that is giving also stability to these die cuts and shapes. If you see there, something on the little birds is attached to the frame and to the branches, so everything is connected. So that's the way to adhere things to this, and remember that you can use any color you might like. This stamp set is absolutely gorgeous, and I just found it perfect to do this. So that's how your three-dimensional frame or three-dimensional window comes to life. Super easy. It's harder to explain than to make. And to finish the card, I'm going to use the larger frame from this die set, and I'm going to die cut a piece of gray cardstock. This is going to be a background piece for this three-dimensional window or frame. And once I have this done, I'm going to grab a piece of paper that measures 6 inches 3/4 by 7 inches, and I'm going to score this across the shorter side. So this card measures 6 inches 3/4 by 3 inches and a half. I also decided to make a little banner, and I heat embossed the sentiment using white embossing powder. And I just trimmed the banner using scissors, and I adhered behind the frame as well. This little banner measures about 1 inch, and even though when I just glue it from the corner of that frame, is straight floating over the paper. To embellish, I'm going to adhere sequence using this Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, And that's the card. You can make these cards in a horizontal layout or vertical. So I also made these in these different layouts for you, and also using different colors so you can have a look at different options. Here is the stamp set and the die set I use for today as well. And well, I say this is a new card making technique just because I'm sharing it here for very first time, but in my blog I shared this idea several years ago, and as you can see here, this is a completely different take on the window or the 3D frame, and I wanted to share with you this picture so you can open your mind to the possibilities. I'm going to be sharing more ideas using these three-dimensional frames and also this stamp set and die set on my blog, so stay tuned. I also want to show you the difference in size between a slimline card, a larger one, and this mini slimline card. So it's about 2.5 inches smaller, and it's about just ½ inch narrower. And just in case you were wondering, to make this large slimline card, I used Magnolia Cottage stamp and die set, and I also made an envelope using the Slimline envelope die by Simon Says stamp as well. There is a mini Slimline envelope die as well. I don't have that one, so to make the envelope for my cards today, I use the envelope punch board. They are not as nice and perfect as this die cut envelope, but they do the work. Last but not least, I want to show you how I make the envelopes for the cards today. I'm going to use the envelope punch board, and I'm going to look for a size of envelope that is close to the size of my card, and it's this one here that is 3.5 by 7 inches, and I need a piece of paper that measures 8 inches and an 8 by 8 inches and an 8, and I need to punch and score at 3 inches. So once you create this first scoring line, all you have to do is to align that notch there with that scoring line, and you need to keep punching and scoring in the same way until you finish the 4 sides of this square piece. And at the back of this board there is a punch that is actually a corner punch, and it will give a nice round shape to those edges. And then you have to fold the paper, and because this flap is too long, I'm going to trim it using the guillotine. And to avoid moisture in this paper, I'm going to use double-sided tape to stick it together. So that's the envelope. You can also shorten the front flap. And well, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel or visit my blog for more ideas and inspiration. Thank you very much for watching, and happy crafting. Bye!